Hey guys, I don't normally go live from the wait screen, but I wanted to give a quick shout out to Bernard, who's in chat and has already left us a preliminary thumbs down. We have a response for Bernard, so here it is. Good evening, Jace.
Good evening, Sean. I'm hidden.
What happened to you? What happened to Jace? There he is. Awesome.
There we go. I made it.
It's how we get rid of it. We slowly just edge him out. We just keep moving the overlays farther and farther, so Jace is more and more hidden. So, yeah, Dustin, the thumbs up is actually preliminarily left by Bernard. I know so because he sent me a message 20 minutes before showtime to let me know that he also had left a thumbs down. So that is what we have degraded to. So we're getting trolled, but we're getting trolled in advance and with advance warning. So it's the best kind of getting trolled, I guess. So, all right, Jace, we got a show tonight. We're gonna do it in under 90 minutes. But before we do that, what's going on new in your world?
There's not been much going on in my world. Not much gaming going on yet, but I'll have got a couple things coming up in the next couple weeks to a month. So then we'll get one last hurrah in before taking a quick hiatus.
Okay. I've also not done much gaming. I didn't play 300 games of Lorcana in 8 days. That's not a stat that exists. Except for the track stat that's on the Lorcana online app, which is really bad that I found that. So got a lot of games and done a lot of testing. Yeah, they're quick. Sometimes they're faster than others. You know, a lot of like 5-turn wins kind of things. So testing a lot of decks. So that's been fun. That's actually I wasn't too mobile on the weekend, so I kind of just sat down here and did that while I was vegging. I hurt my knee because on the previous week, on Wednesday, I was at cross country and I logged about 28K in one day. So of run, walk, jog. So that was a lot, and I felt it for a few days later. So got a lot in. So a lot of travel via my feet, and then a lot of sitting on my chair and clicking of the fingers. So Bernard's coming in now, who wasn't supposed to hear, but he says, Jace the Legend Pippin is my inspiration and guiding light. I am a moth and he is the light. Maybe he's also the bug zapper. I'm not sure. But that could be a thing. So yeah, that was my last week. I also got a ton of work done on the Shire project. So if you guys are interested in the hobby front, we got a couple things on the hobby related topics tonight. We are going to jump into experimental droids a little bit. We're not going to cover all of it, but just talking a little bit and using the screens that we already have just to frame that conversation. Then we're going to get into the Inquisitors, which we missed and promised we would. And then we got some league reveals for you, so you're going to have to stick around if you want that. But, I mean, stick around for the whole show anyway. And, yeah, we'll talk all things, and then we'll have, we might do a little panel at the end there so we can have some live reacts to the league pods. So, made Sean happy. Yeah, you did. So we'll do some of that. If you guys want to live react, we haven't had any live reactions in a bit, so we'll do that, and then we'll get out of here because we still got some resemblance of evening to consume here. So, all right, Jace. So you told us last week in Legion wasn't much for you, but you did play a game. We were away Friday, all of us. Anthony was ill. We didn't know that till after, so hopefully at this point he has had a speedy recovery. He needs to play a playoff game because ironically we are launching season 3 and yet have yet to conclude season 2. We have four champions who are also procrastinators. So who knew that was going to be a thing? So hopefully that gets concluded, and then we'll get rolling with the next season. So I am looking.
Who let those guys in?
I know, seriously, like they work their way to the top to like just sit there and be like, we're all champions, participation awards for everyone. You do get
We.
those. That is basically what our league functions on. But we want to know who the number one participant is as well. So we'll do that. AMG did launch a little bit of news today, mostly reacts to questions posed, some by our podcast, not saying solely by our podcast, but certainly by us. So we are going to read those out to you, or Cole's Notes version of them. And then we will talk a little bit about, like I said, the Inquisitor expansion, and we'll go on. I mean, Jake, at this point, I'm prepared to name you champion of season 2. Just if these guys don't get going here. So, Jace, I also realized I probably left you off the next screen. Oh no, I didn't. Oh, good, I got you in there. So it
Oh,
wasn't
we
showing
made
up.
it.
It wasn't showing up on my end that you were there, but. All right, Jace, let's get into the first little topics. Excuse me. After housekeeping, of course. So let's slide over, tell people where to find us on the social medias.
You bet. So you're checking us out here on YouTube, but also check us out on Facebook, Star Wars Legion Friday Night Fights, Twitter or X at Legion_FNF, Instagram at The Terrain Studio, and of course, Patreon, also The Terrain Studio.
Mostly go to the Patreon because that's got some updates, including like a
It
25-minute
does.
recap video yesterday for patrons. Like I said, you can join the $5 tier and get every video that's ever been there. It helps me out a ton, pays for literally all the eCam business that we do for the other 2 shows. So the more we have there, the less money out of pocket, which is great because while we love doing this, the only thing we don't love to do is make it cost us money. So it's a tougher sell to our families when we have to also pay to be away from them. But so we do like to cover the operating costs, which is always fun. But it does help out on the Patreon end for sure. And if you guys are interested in the Shire project, which will have a ton of, I think, applicable things for other projects, that's going to be there. And we're going to talk a little bit about a hobby cast, which I will recap probably a ton of stuff that's on there for free. So we do as much for free, if not 10 times more than we ever do behind the paywall, just FYI. So Friday Night Fights, we are not going to have one this week, and there's a specific reason why. We're going to try out something, like I told you guys, we're going to use the Friday Night Fights platform for a few different things, not always fighting, but also prepping for fights. We did talk a little bit about that. So in conjunction with that, this week, in our Friday Night Flight slot, so 7:30 time slot, we are actually going to do a hobby hangout. Now, I will not be able to guarantee that it will be Legion related, but it will definitely be hobbying, and you guys can sit alongside of us, probably do a 2-hour cast. We're going to be building at the table. Will be a few new faces here, Jace, myself as well. Anybody, we basically have invited our local crew, so anyone who wants to come out, we're just going to sit around. We're going to talk hobby. We're going to talk shop. We're going to talk, gaming, obviously, all the great stuff. So if you have some painting or hobbying or assembly to do, or just want to hang out for a little bit and chit chat with us Friday night in the slot that we normally have, we're going to do a hobby hangout. We won't do this like every Friday or anything like that. We're going to sprinkle them in, but we are trying to get other people out and in the studio so that we can then commandeer them later for your entertainment when we play games. So join us for that. Let us know how you think it goes. If you hate it, that's fine. You can thumbs down now. Bernard's actually advanced thumbs up the Friday cast. It's not yet created, but I'm sure somehow he's managed to do that. But if you are there with us, let us know. So Dustin's working that night, but hopefully he can, at least tune in. So that's what happened. Sean's looking for participation trophies. Sean's already ducking me in season 3. I will tell you that right now. Little foreshadowing. He's definitely ducking me. Heavy.
100%.
Another thing just on the Patreon front, apparently I also forgot to drop my head on this one. Oh, no, I didn't actually. I just need to advance myself. Here I am. So this is the October update. It's not all white. I do have one corner that's right underneath where my head is. All the Hobbit holes are in. The base colors are down. The preliminary pastes are placed in some places. The trees are getting, fixed or at least located. So the project is progressing quite nicely. Like I said, there's a recap video. You guys can go check that out. I will also be building some of the Shire project on Friday. So if you want to kind of tune in and see some scratch building, I'll be working on some of that for your entertainment. And the project's going to look really good. We are going to have it on a Friday night fight in sometime in the future, probably around Christmas. In fact, we might even coincide this with the Christmas special this year. and bring that out as a little Christmas treat. So look forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. You guys can just be there, whether you're looking forward to it or not. It will probably be just cool to look at. If you guys appreciate modeling or hobbying at all, I think you guys will see something that's entertaining, or at least evidence of some work gone into it. So like I said, check us out at the Terrain Studio Patreon. All right, and whenever this happens, season 2, the playoffs, they were here last week. The contestants have short timelines to get this in. I know Anthony was out sick, so that was part of the issue there. And I think one of our contestants is like, I can't play him in the mountains hunting, meanwhile conversing on the Discord to let us know that he's hunting. So something seemed pretty suspect. I also want to point out that Justice had better internet in the middle of the woods than he does in his residence, which is another weird thing. But anyway, I'm sure that they will wrap up season 2. We eagerly await to announce your champion, and then look forward to everyone crushing that person in season 3. So stay tuned, and I can't tell you whose pod they're in because I don't know who the champion is at this point. So, all right, Jace, AMG news. I used the same screen as last week because I'm pretty sure it's still valid that Justice is really excited about the recent updates. So, and I know the league stats, and I know that there's a few Wookiees in the league. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that upcoming here. So. Jake is verifying at least one thing that I said, so that's good. Thank you, Jake. Okay, Jace. So AMG dropped a little incoming transmission today, and it was basically a response back to several of the questions. So we won't waylay this. We're going to get into it. Let's have a look here. I'm not sure if you can read any of those, Jace, or if they're too small for you, but I'll maybe give some reads and you can give some reacts here. So how do I join the official Atomic Mass Games Discord? Well, they gave you the Discord link, which is very convenient, and be sure to read and react to the rules in the server chat. So you need to do that, and then you have to assign yourself a role, and I think the roles then activate some of your channels. So it makes it pretty easy. Now, they go on to say here effectively that while they know there's other Discords and they appreciate those Discords and the communities for basically being champions of the game, they are not the official correspondents for AMG. That makes sense. And so they basically wanted to have an official communication channel. This means that the requirements on your Discord might not be found elsewhere. We're not looking to replace, that's good, the other community-run channels because they still bring unique points of view and community engagement. That's good. I like that. However, they do ask all the Discord and Facebook groups around to add the words unofficial. And as of this podcast, I had a look at a few of the big Facebook groups, and I didn't see, at least I didn't see, anybody change it to unofficial. So just saying. So that hasn't happened yet. I mean, this just came out, so I don't know if there is like, and I don't know, this is like an ask of them, so I'm sure maybe somebody go reach out, but I do know that I believe, if maybe Jace can confirm, but I believe the terrain page for Legion was and has always been called the unofficial, unless anyone has gone in and somehow moderated that. But I've had that page literally for like 3 years. So I've always used the unofficial approach. I've done that through Flames Award. That's kind of a common practice to be the unofficial. Effectively looking to making sure people are aware what is the official and unofficial. So like it or lump it, it doesn't really matter. They're asking. That's what they'd like people to do. I don't think there's any confusion because they've been long-standing and in existence well in advance of this website and or Discord. But, you know, we operate within the rules, and a simple ask is a simple ask as far as I rule it. So you got a dog there has just appeared. So either that dog is floating or Emily has parachuted the dog in for Jace.
She has. I have been handed the dog.
Awesome. It says here, you've launched the new website and there are some errors. How do we report them? They basically give you, again, the email to report the errors, although I think they point out that they are kind of aware of those, and those are porting errors that happen. Errors happen. It's the digital world. They're also usually fixed pretty quick, too. I missed Mini Extravaganza. Where do I find it? There's, we pointed that out last week that they've done a very good review summary of that. I'm just going to quickly close my messenger, which is beeping in my ear nonstop here. You can probably hear it through my headphones, through my microphone. I'm doing some Lorcana card deals here on the side. Not currently, but I was before I came on here. So basically,
Sean can't even get through a podcast without buying more Lorcana.
I mean, it's a problem. You know what? Maybe there's a podcast to help me out with this problem. And then this one here. Why weren't there any game streams? I'm not gonna say we're lumped in here because there's some words that they use within this that would possibly rule out Friday night fights. Although I'm going to pseudo coattail on this, that it says there is a lot of amazing content creators. Good job, Jace. Making top tier gameplay content. So you know what? So if you remove the word amazing and you take out the word top tier, we are making gameplay content. So we could fit in that if you just like X out most of the good words in there. They are accurate though. There is a ton of people doing that. And while I won't call us amazing, we are making the content. So we're going to fit into this category. So basically they said that they wanted to focus their time on other things, product announcements, et cetera, announcement panels, things like that. And they point out that the next sort of drop of information will likely be coming at Adepticon. So, just because it was just funny. Apparently cleaned out all the... Okay, Anthony, I took a few booster boxes from the East Coast through legitimate sources called my family. So, always the shade coming from the East Coast. I thought we were friends, Anthony. Thought we were friends. Can we get new team jerseys with the word unofficial? Don't even tempt me, Sean Death. That might actually happen. We might have to actually have a whole product line of unofficial tokens and sleeves and all the fun things. So we'll play up on the word. So I can appreciate everything AMG is saying here. So why were the roadmap panels non-specific about the timelines for release? This is probably a question I should read officially from their words. We are doing our best to tell you what we're looking forward to in the short term, and while making clear what's in the future, we and what we call the far future. Sometimes we refer to things in financial terms like Q1. This means at quarter one of the year. While we do our best at those panels to give folks a sense of estimated timelines, whether that's within the next 6 months or a year plus down the line, that's far too early for us to be putting dates on a lot of these things because we can get that wiggle room in case anything happens. As always, when something hits the Asmodee shop, it's listed with estimated release date, and upon those, and we update upon those if anything changes. So basically what they're saying is they're giving us the best estimates that they can within the time frames that they believe things will happen. But I mean, literally, if COVID taught the world anything, it's things can go sideways real fast. Things can change. Things can jump up and down, specifically prices. And I think all of those are factors that they're kind of talking about here. So can we have any updates on the Star Wars Legion Battleforce component replacement kits for those affected by the misprints? I didn't know that there was actually going to be component replacement kits. So that's actually good. And basically they say that they will make a post with instructions as soon as the solution is available for those affected by the misprints in Echo-based Defenders, 501st, and the Separatist Invasion Force. Not great that they had 3 out of 4 that effectively came with errors, but that happens. That toothpaste is already squeezed out. Here's the solution for you. And so again, you have to, when you get your kit, all those people that complained, that complaint will go away. I've said that many, many times, that the complaint of anything is only up until the moment that a solution is provided. So that's hence my mantra about being solution focused, because that's really what you're trying to get to. The quicker you can get to that, the quicker you can get rid of all these other things. So, and then it says, during Mini Extravaganza, it seemed like many products are being discussed without release until next year. Is there anything coming out before the end of the year or what? So they talk a whole bunch of stuff in here. Interesting here. This is the only part, and again, I don't read into this, but while the holiday season is in full swing, our team has the opportunity to take a well-deserved PTO or take the time to make key decisions and content for the following year without pressure of working around announcements that and event travel is really key for us. Hopefully this gives folks time to catch up on the painting cues. I get that totally. If you go above, it says the holidays are also a big time to compete against other posts and advertisements in your social media feeds, and we don't want our announcements to get lost in the deluge of posts that are driven by that time of year. I don't know if that
Okay.
I don't know if that's a real concern, but I guess that's what they're saying. So I can't dissuade any of that. But like the Christmas season, I think no matter what is a time to capitalize on things. Like how many people get things from family members that are nothing they would ever buy for you, but it comes with this like, what do you want? And then you like give them a list and they're like, cool, here's some money or here's a gift card, or they actually go out and get that for you. Like that's the time to capitalize on people buying you ridiculous things that they would never otherwise get you. And hobbies are
Exactly.
no different. Like I see a ton of holiday posts. It's like got this Legion package from my grandma, or like my girlfriend bought me all these things. It's like that's the time to capitalize on it. I don't have a concern that my post will be like I'll miss Legion content because like there's too many like I don't know holiday memes, but whatever. It doesn't matter. That's what they've said. I'm just reading it. I get everything they say there. I don't, that's not a concern I have. It doesn't matter. Something's not coming out or there's not stuff coming out. That's fine. Whatever reason, it is what it is. They've already told me above what to look forward to. I will do that. And I will do that and enjoy my holidays. So, but they also deserve holidays like everybody else. So I get, and I agree with that part completely. So I missed stuff in chat. What do we got going on here? So just got back. I'll get my game in justice. Yeah. Spotty internet now that he's back in Civilization. So,
Yeah, now that he's got bad internet, he'll play his game.
are we starting season 3 today, Anthony? Yes, officially starting today.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I have some BXs that I want to pew pew Sean. Fair enough. Anthony he's wants to pew pew me with some BXs. They pew pew. There, no question about it. I hope Ryan doesn't see that they
do.
said no new models due to PTO. He's gonna have a field day with that one. So, I mean, Ryan's a teacher. He can appreciate PTOs like everyone else. I don't use PTO, but what do you guys call it in your world? Like Jace, when you have like time off, you guys do
Banked overtime.
banked overtime. We call it like service recognition days, you know, or
Yeah,
holidays because we celebrate all the holidays as educators. So just like everybody else. So whatever it
no,
is,
we don't. We do not celebrate all the holidays, but
well, fair, we do, and like I'm not. Far be it from me to deny anyone earned time off. So, but it does say that they're going to have a few pre-order announcements in November. So maybe that will tell us some idea of timelines. So, yeah,
Inquisitors.
Yep, for sure. On the topic of Inquisitors, let's quickly grab through this experimental droid business and Anthony talking about pew pewing. So the battle forces, we played it. We also played it wrong. Here's the piece about it. So Anthony played this at the tournament, and a few other people did, and I believe everybody played it wrong there. One critical miss, and it was unintentional for sure. Then pre-Friday night fight, we chatted about it, saying, oh crap, I think we did this wrong, we need to make sure we don't. And then we played the entire game, all of us, including all the viewers, and I don't think anybody caught it in chat, we also played it all wrong. So sliding over to the next screen, effectively what we got wrong, just remembering that the surge token mechanic, which is amazing by the way, actually a real sleeper I think in this battle force. So it is a really cool mechanic. Let's knock it out. They've actually done pretty well with the battle forces, to be honest. Are they strong? Yes. Are they slightly OP? Do they seem to like obsolete the next one? Yes. But that doesn't rule out cool mechanics. The one thing we were doing wrong was the fact that the B2s, while they are an AI unit, lose AI with the TAC droid, and then therefore cannot use the surge mechanic as we understand it. So that was wrong, and it does make B2s exceptionally powerful. I think like Anthony, took a pretty strategic aim that paid off. Jace moved speed 2 with the B2s while in a piece of area terrain. So like it was misused on both sides, so there was no distinct advantage. However, we just wanted to point out that we had done that wrong, even though pre-show we talked about correcting that. So how we got that wrong, I'm not sure, but apparently we were still an experimental brain. But why don't you talk a little bit about the configuration, Jace? Maybe like the version like you ran versus what Anthony ran, and kind of some of the components about the Battle Force that you liked.
Yeah, for sure. So I ran the less competitive version with triple droidicas because droidicas in here are nice because you can either give them an aim or give them some more dice. But they still are not nearly as good, mostly due to the fact of lacking critical or any surge conversion offensively at all, to Anthony's version, which was the triple BX Commandos, which is just nasty. Probably, if you want to run this list competitively, you are taking 3 of those units. Just the unit with the sniper rifle. Take the shields, because the shields are great. Anthony had offensive push and transponders on both of them too, so lots of aim tokens. But just adding those extra dice with the ability to pierce, with the surge to hit, with sharpshooter, it can become a really nasty list. Plus then, if you got the 3 units, you're probably spending your 3 surge tokens on that, and then you can use your 2 B2s to just do their normal stuff and not have to worry about spending the surge tokens on them and cheating like we both did.
Right. Yeah, definitely cheating. I do like the configuration of this. I don't know the snail tank, poor snail tank, probably not going to see much play.
I don't think you ever take it. Never.
They possibly could have forced you into taking that. We've seen that in some battle forces with the heavy before, and that obviously isn't the case here. They made it arguably worse, not arguably, pretty clearly worse, with no net benefit. I would have liked to see something come out of it. In terms of being a benefit, and I think taking transport away based on how the list wants to work was a big it was a big hit to it. Anthony pointed out in chat that the Magnas are brutal. I think the Magnas had to be taken down in order to not make this like regular Magnas in this list with all the rest of the bonuses just kind of crazy. I think the Magnas even getting that B3 Magnas is just wild. And the fact that you can make a unit go speed 2 as a hostage is pretty cool as well. Bobster saying the Magnas he placed out fairly well, 7th out of a 25 person tournament. He's saying Magnas basically did nothing. I think,
they don't. Mine killed one of Anthony's Magna models.
Yes,
and then died.
Other Anthony, OS Dad, pointing out that he loves that the B1s are transported on the snail tank in the image art shared. I agree. A real miss.
100%.
So, I want to think that somewhere in my brain that there was a typo or an error, or a literal experimental droids was the working title, and somehow it just went out like that, and now we have this. So. In my brain, it's fitting that there is some things that they're trying out in this list, but I agree. The transport, taking that off, I don't even know in what world the snail tank loses the ability to have droids ride on it. I get that you might change the weapons or something like that, but functionally it doesn't cease to have the ability to transport, which is just weird, but whatever. We'll take it as it is. But otherwise, I think it's kind of cool. I'm glad that they limit you on the B2s. B1s, it just 2 of them feels weird. But it's not like we haven't seen that before, but you're maxed. So you're either B1s are either loaded or they are naked. There's not a lot of room to wiggle in there. So Kalani seems real good in the list, by the way. So Call Me Captain saying it's for balance. Can't have speed 3 scout BXs, speed 3 Magnas, and speed 3 whatever's in the transport. I mean, it's just from a functional standpoint. I get. Everything's already pretty fast. I mean, scout 3 BXs that can move 3 are still quick, and you can't. You can move things fast, but you only get one of the movements. Is that, and you are spending a surge to do that. So. It's just kind of where it is. So it's a gripe. We can have it. We can argue. We can debate. At the end of the day, the facts are the facts. It doesn't have transport. So how they came up to that decision doesn't really matter. It's just you're probably never going to see a snail tank in this list. But if you want to play snail, take another list. Play one of the other forces. So or just a regular droid list.
Yeah, it really seemed like they tried to take the snail and make it more of a gunboat versus a transport, but then they took away all the things that make it good at gunboating, like surge to hit.
The impact, critical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anything that made it good at shooting, they're let's take that away, but also take away its utility as a transport. The Magnas are fine at 1 wound. they just should have been cheaper. They're just being that highly priced for the 1 wound magnet, like 60 points for 4 wounds.
To me, it's the one courage that's also a bit of a kicker there. Like
Yes.
you operate these magnas sometimes in advance of the rest of your army, and if you stretch them out at all, it's basically going to be like no action magnas. Like it's not going to be much for them to get in panic range if you ever get them outside of range 3. So so it's
I
a
mean,
bit of a,
why do they cost the same as phase 2s for the same number of models, one less courage? And I mean, you got unhindered versus reliable, you got charge versus fire support.
Again, if you want to run real magnas or real snail tanks, this isn't the Battleforce for you. But if you want to run other cool things and you have to live with maybe the tax or taking a token unit, then that's kind of the
you take like
pay.
one magna.
Yeah, no question. 34-point rocket on magnas for a 1 wound is a hurt tax for sure. It's the complete opposite of what you get on the remnant side of things, where you're paying 16 points for another death trooper. Yes, 1 wound, but you're 16 points for a death trooper with a 66% save, and then here you're paying 34 points for a 1 wound magna with a 50-50 save. So sure, when you compare things, if you're trying to do apples to apples, they don't all add up. So that is fair. It is the Empire, and it is okay, because that is the excuse for everything. On the topic of Empire and everything is okay, Anthony and I must have said 100 times in the car when we were driving up and back. Every comparison we made now has the new litmus test of, but the Inquisitors. So on the topic of Inquisitors, Fifth Brother and the Seventh Sister are due out sometime. I was sometime in one of the quarters. And maybe
the last time we got a model release was July, so next year sounds good.
Yeah, you know what? I for these guys to not be here quickly, I think it's okay.
That part's okay.
One thing, you can play them in the league, so have fun with that.
Yes.
But cool box, cool art, cool models, exceptionally strong. So we're going to spend a few minutes on this, and then we'll get into the league stuff here. So Anthony's on fire in chat tonight, so let me throw the bros brewed a fever over there in the chat. So let's pour some water on the keyboard, Anthony. You're starting to smoke over there. So let's chat a little bit about this. So Fifth Brother, the kill is mine. I like that. 105 points, a couple training slots, and a force slot. Only one force slot, they say. He has Dauntless. Dauntless, remember, after you rally, if you're not suppressed, or if you're suppressed but not panicked, I should say, you gain a suppression token and get a free move action. Just casually move a force user for free.
Yep. It has to be the first action. Has to be before your other action.
Yep,
but
that is true.
free moves are great.
Oftentimes that might be good enough. Block, like true block, while defending. If you spend a dodge, you get to gain the surge to defense, which is great. Makes the save potential of a 6-wound model pretty good. He's got Enrage 2. Well, you have 2 or more tokens, just to add charge on here. So now let me get this straight, Chase. If I am enraged, so I'm going to have courage go to nil. So if I have nil courage, then I would never be able to trigger Dauntless.
Because you would never gain suppression tokens.
Right, exactly. I'm just like walking people kind of through that, so you don't get both. You either are going to be enraged to get to charge, or potentially triggering Dauntless. So there's not really a large window for Dauntless.
You can always double move.
Right. Yeah. What I'm saying is there's not a large window for Dauntless here. Once he starts kind of getting injured. Also immune pierce, very handy. 2 attack profiles here. 1 in melee, not bad with. Let's set this straight. 5 black, very good. But Ram 2. You love Ram 2 off the charge.
Yuck.
Yeah, Ram 2, very, very... with Surge offensively, you have a really good, reliable pool here.
Your average is 5.
Fair.
Like, because you should hit 5 out of 8, which should hit you 3, and then you ram the 2 blanks.
Yep. Yeah,
So with
have
ram, you
really, really good odds here.
yeah.
And you got Pierce 1 to boot, so you're really liking that. Now that's on your melee attack. Also has a range profile here with impact 2 Pierce, so Pierce on the range and the melee profile, which is great. 3 black, just a range 1 to 2 here. But again, you're probably going to want to bury these guys pretty quickly. But for 105 points, really nice package here. So thoughts on that?
Excuse me, a couple of the big things, as Anton was saying, built-in saber throw. So, who needs 2 force upgrade slots when you just get 1 free baked in at 105 points? Second, because they have block and not deflect, you are now more tanky than every other Jedi.
Yep.
Because you can use it in melee. And if we compare this to the last Force user they released, Asajj, she's 45 more points.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of problems here at 105 points. What a tax you're paying for these keywords.
And we haven't even got to the command cards and upgrade card.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. But
We'll
before
get there.
let's jump over to Seven Sister. Let's just see, because surely they balanced out Seven Sister being way more points, 5 more points.
Well, five more whole points.
Same upgrades. Has jump 1. Fifth brother does not have jump. Has charge
No jump.
instead. Associate fifth brothers. So this is a new one, obviously. During army building, this unit doesn't count against the number of operative ranks that you can take. If units you may include fifth brother is included in the same area. So basically, if you take one, you're going to get the other one for free, effectively. Not points wise, but from a operative cost standpoint.
Yeah, you can take 3 operatives.
Yeah, very, very nice. Doesn't have charge. Does have charge. Sorry.
Does have charge.
Doesn't
and block.
Has charge. Has block. Has discipline 1. So that's what, like, when you're issued an order, you get to remove
a suppression.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does have immune pierce as well. So kind of that, this one little stock standard, for keyword little line that they slid in here between associate and
it's
interrogate.
Just massive.
Very, very nice.
Massive.
By the way, interrogate is like one of the.
This is the single greatest keyword that they have ever made. This is the most insane keyword.
Yep. So while the unit's at range 1 of an enemy unit, treat that unit's command cards as having 1 more pip.
Gets through cunning.
Yep, gets through cunning for sure. That is so impressive. And did we miss anything over here? I don't think so. No, got that.
No.
Same attack profile minus ram.
Ram, but you have jump.
Not the same average. Does have the same weapon profile. Seven Sister is 1 less health, but 1 more courage. And then speed and defense dice are the same for 110 points.
Yeah.
So quite a package. Yep.
Yes. And both surge hit.
Both surge hit, correct. Yeah, and and then will have blocks, so effectively could have pseudo surge defense as well. So very, 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 very nice. Now, in context, we basically have the profiles. The profiles are good. You get nothing other than the profiles. You are getting a steal at 110 and 105 points respectively. Yeah, no question.
215 for that. Amazing.
That's a deadly package for sure. Definitely going to probably trade up in their value if you're going after anything of named value. I think you're going to have easy time trading up, I think, there. Let's get into the command cards. They do come with 5 command cards total. So Fifth Brothers command cards are as follows. This has a 3 pip and a 1 pip. I care not for your struggles. This is Fifth Brother and 2 troopers. Not bad for a 3 pip, specifically on an operative as well. That's not something that we typically see on operatives, having some control of other units. Fifth Brother may issue an order at range 1 to 5. Really, really interesting here. We haven't seen that. We've seen kind of like Infinite, and we've seen sort of range 3. Commanding Presence get you to range 4, but a range 5, not bad. Especially if you have the Inquisitors out leading and you're trying to get something in the back, perhaps. So a bit of an interesting gameplay mechanic there. Units that are issued orders by this card gain Dauntless this round. So again, I see this card as being somewhere where it's like I have a back unit that's trying to do something. I'm getting pressured by my opponent. I'm not at panic state, but I am at an area where I might lose 2 actions. I may be at potential for 1, and I kind of need that double move. This is a great card. This is like a bailout card here. So as long as you are not panicked, you're going to take that dauntless move, and off you go and take that second move. So I really like this, the kind of, the get out of jail free card almost, and an easy play around about from an opponent that's trying to pressure, like I said, either a back capper or a box grabber or something like that. So
Yeah. Also great for that turn 6 play of where your opponent knows that they're losing on MOV and just has to suppress you to stop you from taking a point, and it's like, you can't.
yep. Or exactly, like, this, I mentioned running away. There's a very likely possibility where you're using this dauntless move to move 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like
You need 2 moves to get to that.
Intercept.
Yeah, exactly.
Something. Yeah, absolutely like that. And I guess the range 1 to 5s gives you the versatility of both doing something that's maybe closer to the middle, so maybe you're not at extreme range of anything, or maybe the Inquisitor is deeply buried and you're trying to order something that's halfway back in the battle lines, kind of thing. So, yeah, interesting play here. I'm not saying it's a super powerful card, but I think situational play, it's probably going to compete with other things in the 3-pip slot, but it might be something to keep an opponent kind of guessing. I think the Inquisitor cards, given other things, maybe there's some play with Callus and getting contingencies and just having some versatility within your command hand. And this is just one card, so we'll press on and get to the other ones because I know people want to get to the pods, but we want to give some fair shake on this as well. You would question me with a question mark there as 1 pip here. 5th brother and 7th sister. It's permanent.
That's a 2-pip.
Oh, sorry, it is a 2-pip?
It is a 2-pip. Just the photo you have has it cut off, but you can also tell from the placing of the dot.
My bad. Yeah, that was maybe that is from the photo crop. Sorry, it's a 2-pip. Fair enough. Thank you, Jace, for correcting that. Yeah, it does look like it's a little askew. Thank you. Yes. Permanent. When 5th brother gains an aim token, 7th sister gains a dodge token. Okay, cool. So kind of like almost like a teamwork, but like opposite.
Reverse teamwork.
Yeah, and when 5th brother gains a dodge token, 7th sister gains an aim token. So if you want to token them up, they are going to have to take independent actions or gain tokens in some respects. When either unit gains an aim or a dodge, the other unit may gain an immobilized token. If they do, the first unit gains an additional token of the same type. So if I'm reading this correctly, if I'm 5th brother and I gain an aim, 7th sister is going to gain a dodge. If I also want to give 7th sister an immobilized token, I can gain 2 of the token that I got.
You gain a second aim.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. I can get 2 of the token that I am that I currently got. Okay, yeah. So it's kind of a way.
It's permanent.
Yeah. So there's a lot of versatility because maybe an immobilized token on a unit that's buried, or you don't plan on going anywhere, or has force push isn't terrible. If getting the other tokens on the other side are good. Now here's a question that I have. If this happens, so if I'm reading this correctly, when 5th brother gains a dodge token, 7th sister gains an aim. When either unit gains an aim or a dodge, the other unit may gain an immobilized token. So, and then if they do, they get a token. So if I was 5th brother and I got an aim, you as 7th sister gain a dodge. Then, if you gain a dodge, I can then give you an immobilized token to get a second aim. What I'm wondering is when I get that second aim, does 7th sister get another dodge? Anthony's actually right there in chat now asking that. Because then when 7th sister gains a dodge, do I not then gain an aim?
Right.
It's permanent.
Yeah. It's going to need an FAQ before. My guess on how it's going to work is 5th brother can take an aim, which will give 7th sister a dodge, who can then take an immobilized to give him an aim, which will give her a dodge, and that's the end. You can't take more than... my guesses are going to say you can't take more than 1 immobilized token.
Yeah, but here's the problem with the card, because it says gains.
Yeah,
It doesn't say
exactly.
like it does the action, right? So
No, that's
uh,
the other thing too. So like offensive push works, transpond. You can't take transponders on these guys, but offensive push works.
spotter,
Spotter,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. What
Def-
did you say? Did you say portable scanners? Because portable scanners
portable
would
scanner. Yep.
also totally is probably commander. It's probably sitting in the FAQ.
I've checked. It's not on the FAQ yet.
Fair enough.
They
I
don't
was
have
just
anything with
curious.
Inquisitors up.
I'm not trying to break anything. I was just trying to get my head wrapped around how this works because the wording around
Yeah,
gains is different than takes an aim action.
100%.
So yeah, it seems
They
very
they
very
made it
interesting.
they did make it a continuous loop until they FAQ it. But I don't think they're going to FAQ it until the unit comes out.
Sean Death shouting out, and if you weren't an early Legion player, you don't maybe get the reference, but coordinated fire. Yes, the
Yes. Oh
17
my
aim
goodness.
coordinated fire LVO 1.0 for me definitely took distinct advantage of that for sure. Um, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's I don't like that there's something that's getting near as many tokens as Remnant, which is where I was kind of going with that. Like, we gotta shut this stuff down fast, but I do think that there's definitely exploitative room here.
Oh, 100%.
Um, but yeah, no question, Jake.
There's also no
Please,
range limit. They can
no,
be
there
on
is no
opposite
range
sides of
limit
the
for
table.
sure. Please hear me. I am not saying this or was not attempting to create any sort of like kerfluffle around the infinite loop. I was reading it, processing it, and then in my brain thinking, where does this end? Like, where's the end to this? So not trying to poke fun at the fact that it does seem endless. Just the fact that I I was looking at how gains is super powerful in the sense of the, Anthony, of course, is seeding chaos as much as possible in chat. That's a given for sure. I'm just being the voice of reason here that it's powerful and probably needs to be fixed. All right,
Very.
let's move on to the 1, 2, and 3 so that we can get onto these league pods here. By the way, good luck
Yeah.
if you got Anthony in your group. I'm sure it'll be a blast. Come and prove it. One pip here, Seven Sisters. So fifth brother and
Yep.
Seven Sister. Seven Sister doesn't even get top billing on her own command card. If you
Nope.
checking that out, that's terrible. Fifth brother and Seven Sister gain Indomitable and roll one extra die when defending. So really good. So block, red dice, feeling really good about that. If Seven Sister is declared as the target of the attack while she has I'm not sure what that
I
says,
think it's
while she
face
has
up.
I think a face up order token, she
Yeah.
gains a dodge token. By the way, if not mistaken, going back, had you already played the card, which is permanent, all of these things are going to continually trigger. So she's going to get a dodge token here. She gets a dodge
Yeah.
token. Fifth brother's going to get an aim token. Fifth brother, if she then wants to give fifth brother an immobilize token, that's actually 2 dodge tokens plus an extra
Yeah.
die in defense. Really good. By the way, she's courage 3 with Indomitable, so that good luck trying to limit Seven Sister for actions. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Bobster makes a great point here. Sunfac is 15 points cheaper than Fifth Brother, and they can do all this.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Sean Death pointing out Seven Sisters 1 pip. Us an all-star, I think is saying is an all-star for sure. So
It is 100%.
yeah, like I think you got to play that 2 pip out for fifth brother like straight away to get that permanent triggers, because you're gonna see a theme here. These folks are gonna have tokens, so definitely great. Very well defensive played card. But then also sort of pseudo gears up fifth brother for offense. I think this 1-2 combo, while there is no range ban on here, I'm not sure that you're going to see these two playing too far from each other, because, well, I should say, you may not see them far from each other, but you may see like bubbles of armies around these two. I don't think you want to have either one of these crash into your lines, let alone 2. You're going to make a mess for sure. Getting into the 2 pip here, unexpected but not unwelcomed. Seventh Sister, again, it doesn't get top billing on our card. Fifth brother and Seventh Sister. When a unit is issued an order by this card, it recovers. When Seventh Sister is attacking a commander or an operative with a face down order token, So that's interesting. During the roll attack dice step, she gains up to 2 suppression tokens. She gains 1 aim token for each suppression token gained. So again, going back to that card, if I'm following this right, if they have 2 suppression and she gains 2 aim tokens, does then Fifth Brother get 2 dodge
No,
tokens?
no. So it only works when fifth brother gains the tokens and then she gets them. When she gets the tokens, fifth brother doesn't get any.
Doesn't get any. Okay, so that's
It's
fair. So
only
that it's only the other way
yeah.
around. Gotcha. Okay,
But
got.
but she can still gain the 2 aims, then take a suppression. Sorry, take an immobilize, and to give him a dodge, which would then give her an aim.
Aim back, yeah. So there is a lot of triggers that are going to
She
be
can still do that
right.
because it
There's
just
gonna,
says anytime one of them gains an aim or a dodge token.
yeah. So there's going to be a lot of triggers, and they're going to be tokened up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think their command cards are pretty instrumental in getting them orders, because I think once they start with an order, and you're almost probably going to see one of them go maybe early, one go late, or maybe a back-to-back combo, but I do think you're going to want to, as opposed to like other force users, operatives, etc., where you're kind of maybe sitting on them. I'm not sure that they're going to be ones that you want to kind of sit on for a whole turn, because you're not going to want to have them
No.
eat a bunch of fire, gain a bunch of potential suppression, etc. I think they're going to want to go early and as often as possible. So, yeah, so very interesting. We haven't seen a lot of like, with an order with a face down, or a unit with a face down order token. So, so this, I guess the straight up counter to this is like, hold on to your operatives and commanders as long as possible to not have this happen. So there'll be maybe a little bit of a play around there in terms of kind of a game of chicken, if you will, in terms of who's going to go first kind of thing. So
Totally.
and then the 3-pip here, you hide your fears well, or fear well, no S. 7 sister and 2 units. So again, a 3-pip operative with multiple orders coming off it. So pretty good. 7 sister gains demoralize 1. Makes sense. I think she'll be buried in and probably taking full advantage of that. While enemy units are at range 1 of 7 sister are suppressed, they re-roll 1 fewer die when spending aim tokens. Okay, so it's kind of like a hack to an aim. So
It's
no,
it's reverse precise.
yeah, it is kind of reverse precise. Yeah, so targeting scopes is kind of like the counter to this card here, I guess, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just.
Or
I'm
you could just say
joking,
this card
but
negates. This card basically just negates a like 4, 6, whatever it is point upgrade.
right, yeah. So Death Troopers, watch out! You're only re-rolling 3 dice now on
Yeah,
your
yeah.
on your
It doesn't
aim
work great
tokens.
against Death Troopers.
Yeah, no, I get it. So probably the blandest of the 5 command cards, in my opinion. While Demoralize can be powerful, this is a range 1 Demoralize. You're going to be buried in anyway. Yeah, aim tokens may be spent in melee for sure, but it's only going to be 1 fewer. If you're in with something of any value, it probably has pretty good attack dice and probably some surge conversion already, possibly. So, like I said, could situationally be good, but
Yeah.
only 7 sister gains the demoralize, and
Yes.
the effects of this really only trigger off her. So it's not like you're getting a widespread use of demoralize and or the shutting down of aim tokens. So a little bit of a control card, but again, for me, probably the I'm whelmed by this one in comparison to the others.
Yeah.
4 out of 5
The one
ain't
in
that bad. So
Yeah, the 1 and 2s are really good. Both of the 3s are very situational, which
yep.
means they'd be great with Callus because then you can easily swap it out for any other 3s you need.
Yeah, agreed. And potentially not even taking this one at all if you're running any other sort
Yeah.
of operative in there at all. So Bosk
Exactly.
mentioned earlier. So, maybe you're taking Bosk 3-pip versus this one. So yeah, but overall, Jace, I think for 105, 110, like I said, 215 package with potentially up to 5 command cards, make not a bad choice, I think. So, yeah.
Not at all. But there's one more card for them.
Oh, do we have one more card?
Not a command card. Did you get the upgrade card? They have a specific upgrade card
You
to
know
them.
what? I actually forgot to drop the upgrade in. Why don't you chat
Yeah,
while I go
I'll go
grab
through
that?
it.
I actually forgot to grab that image of that.
Yeah, so they're also going to
about
come
it.
with a unique training upgrade for 5 points, so it's cheap. called Inquisitorious Training. It's for 5th Brother or 7th Sister only. This unit gains Demoralize 1, which can then stack with, of course, 7th Sister's 3-pip. When a unit at range 1 exhausts a Force upgrade card, you may roll a red defense die. On a blocker surge result, so any paint, cancel the effect, the upgrade remains exhausted. So you basically can just negate Force Push.
Very, very good.
Absolutely disgusting, especially since they just raised the cost of Force Push.
And you're just buried in. So, as Anthony points out, just makes them even more insanely ridiculous. I don't disagree with that at all. The ability to combo off these two and potentially shut down a Jedi's ability to get out of that mess.
It's their ability to do anything.
You're really just a sitting duck at that point, and it's your kind of your get out of jail free. So Bobster's saying choke, push, barrier. Choke to a lesser extent, because choke's not really going to hurt these two in particular. I mean, obviously.
But if you got a unit nearby,
100%. But I'm thinking like choke is an automatic wound and it's going to do some damage. So yeah, shutting that down. But the ability to just physically get out or potentially pull in to be that insulator for a Jedi is what keeps Jedi alive. So that, to me, the shutdown of push is huge. The shutdown of barrier, yes, that could potentially be for great value for surrounding units. Still below the push shutdown, in my opinion, for sure. So, but the whole mere fact that you're paying points potentially as a Force user to not use your Force power is just that's a residual bonus right there. So. Darksider saying fear, anger, hope meta is here. So
right, it's crazy because you run both of these for super cheap up into your opponent's lines. You've got 2 lightsabers, and I mean, at worst, you're taking the Inquisitorious Training and you're taking Force Push likely on both of them. Mm-hmm. So. As your cheapest, so you're at 245 points still for 2 operatives with lightsabers, who are fast. And once you get up close, you make their command cards 1 more pip, so you can almost always win priority. Yep. You shut down all their Force upgrades, and you're handing out suppression everywhere.
And you have tokens to boot, like you're either defensive,
and you have an insane amount of tokens,
tech like to the nines. So.
Yeah,
it feels real good. Yeah, real good. And then you're protected on the way in too, and you're also offensive on the way in. So
100%.
Yeah, there's a lot that Inquisitors have to offer. So, you could put them on your Christmas list, but they won't be delivered because those ads won't be seen. But make sure that you tell all of your folks. I'm just kidding. I'm just going back to that ad business. But make sure that you tell all your relatives to buy the Inquisitors. And if you're an Empire player, well, it's about darn time we got something good. So there's that. So I look forward to seeing these out here. What's Canadian Bear saying? The fact is effectively a 2-pip training upgrade that has 60% to block. Force upgrade is nuts. Since Demoralize 1 is valued at 3 points. Points thanks to fear. Man, the Inquisitors just they have so many things baked in. I think they're a 3-slot operative that really, if you never took really anything outside of that 1 upgrade, they're still going to have a ton of value and potential for sure. So
100%.
I anticipate seeing a lot of Inquisitors. I don't know if we'll see any in the league, but there's potential for that. So we're gonna get into that, Chase. Look at us go at an hour 4, so it's still 25 minutes under to go. We're at the league time now. We're doing well. We're doing very good. Yeah, we're doing good. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Inquisitors. We'll talk more about that, but you guys got it. There's so many things, and I think it's difficult to talk in theorycraft too much about these because they're going to be a while before we see them on the tabletop in the league, potentially.
Thank goodness.
Obviously, other places you can see them, you can proxy, all those good things. You can certainly do all that. But let's talk about the league because that's here and now. So, um, you are just inciting rage. I mean, does it take much, Anthony? Does it take much? So,
It really doesn't. I mean, guys, this is the guy who concedes before the game starts and then wins turn 3.
that's how Anthony powers up. So that's like I said, that's how he powers
100%.
up.
The
Yeah,
rage powers him up.
yeah,
Anthony is 100% dark side. He feeds off his rage.
yeah. All right, so let's get into this here. Before we there we go. Can't hear me on this one. So we're going to get into season 3 launch show. I'll make the pods a little later tonight, so give me some time after the show. They'll be ready by morning for sure. Nobody's going to play a league game tonight, I hope. Take the night off, but the pods will be ready. So once, if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to go through this. If you are watching right now or watching in the future and you want to get in on the pod, the season, it is easy. You'll have to jump in on round 2, but you can join and leave anytime. That's the beauty of the pod. And the system that we have. And so, like I said, I'm going to go over the rules. It's been a little while for some and, not so long for others. But by the time we get the season 2 playoffs in, they'll probably need a reminder of how the league works too, because they're taking so long. But we're going to do that. Jace is going to share some stats about the league based on the submissions for round 1. We got all the stats of the list submitted. And then we're going to open up the pods and talk a little bit about that. We'll leave a few minutes if people want to have a live react to that, and then we'll say goodnight. All right, so the league rules are as follows, and there's a couple things in here, and then one complete mystery. Nobody knows about it. I'm dropping it in here. Like it or lump it. You're either in or you're out. It's just something fun to do, and it's a little bit of a change because I wanted to get a bounty system in, and I didn't want to have to come up with a new bounty per round. So I'll share that on the next screen. So the league is basically going to be 6 rounds. This is round 1. We're going to run them for 5 weeks this time. So no matter what size your pod is, because sometimes we would run them longer if they were bigger because people were wanting more time, we're going to keep them at 5 weeks. It doesn't matter if you have 7, 9, or 4 people in your pod. It's going to be 5 weeks to get as many games in as you can. This just keeps it reasonable paced, but also allows for schedules and some flexibility in there. I think the biggest pod this time is 6, and the other pods are 5. So basically, you get a game in a week and you're fine. Players are going to be randomly sorted for round 1, and then moving forward, they're going to be reshuffled based on how they finished in the 5 weeks. We're going to move up the top half, round it up. So if it's a tie, and there's 3 people, will go up, 2 people will go down. If there's a tie for the bottom, then we'll move up 2 and we'll keep 3 down. So basically, rounding up, top half goes up, bottom half goes down. You're never out of the league. That's the bonus. You can play and lose every single game and still have fun. We'll never kick anybody out. If you leave for a round, that's fine. If you want to jump in for 4 out of the 6 rounds, that's cool too. The more, the better. Each pod, like I said, will have 5 to 6 players. This is how points are earned. You get a point for playing a completed game, so you can't just hand out a victory. You don't get a point for that. So you got to play the game. You get a point no matter what. You get 2 points for a victory. So if you're keeping track at home, that's 3 points for a win. And then you get a bonus point for completing 4 or more games in a given round. And we're going to leave it at 4. So if you're in a pot of 5, you got to play all 4 of your games to get the bonus point. That's just how we're going to do it. If you're in a pot of 6, well, you got a little bit of buffer there, but you got to play 4 or more games. So if you win, 3 points. If you lose, 1 point. And if you play all your games, you get a bonus point at the end of the round. There's going to be more points awarded, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Any games not played are not counted as a victory, and so not a completed game. At the conclusion, like I said, we're going to round up. That's going to be Tier A. The lower half's going to be Tier B. We didn't want to call you winners, losers, but effectively top half, bottom half, and we reshuffle and go again. Lists are submitted. You got to have them locked in before we roll it over. Sometimes we're a little closer to the end, but if we ask people to get them in, you don't have to reveal anything, and nothing will be revealed until the pods are, so nobody's going to list leak or anything like that. But we will ask for those to be submitted in the final week of the previous pod so that we can get rolling when we're going. Good point. Sean Death is saying, please at Sean Death when you are done your game, and we'll have a format at the top post. I'll pin it, how to write it. But if you can tag Sean Death looks after all the stats for the point tallies, and Canadian Bear does all the lists and the stats for the list submissions, and we do thank them greatly. They are highly coveted and paid positions, so they were at no time will they be giving them up. but make sure that you guys give your praise in chat because they do all that stuff for you guys. Here's where it gets interesting this time. Nobody knows this, not an admin, not anybody. So during 1 to 6, all of the rounds, with the exception of one, I took it out of here because I didn't want to shock anybody, but we're actually going to have bounty units this time. So each round is going to have a bountied unit. So if you were with us before, we used to do a bounty, we used to do a ban list. This time we're going to do a vote in the last the last 2 weeks. So before you have to submit your list, we're going to do the bounties. And this is how it works. We're going to basically bounty a unit. So for example, in round 2, we're going to bounty a commander based on a vote for each faction, including Shadow Collective. Now, when you go to submit your list, you're going to know whether your unit commander or your army commander is bountied or not. So you got one commander in one faction. If you don't want to have a bounty point on your list every single time you play, don't take that commander. That's really simple. It's easy to get around that. The next time we get to round 3, we're going to bounty an operative in each of the factions for the round. You don't want to have the bounty point, don't take that operative. However, when you're playing, if you do have the unit that's chosen, let's say that we say Commander Vader is bountied, and I'm in playing in a game, and someone kills my commander, you just get a point. Now, it doesn't factor into the win-loss. So if I play a game and lose, I'm getting a point for playing, and I get your commander, I have 2. But if I don't win the game, I'm still going to keep the point. But a winner is going to play the game for 1 and win for 2, and they're going to get to 3. So even if you win, but you give up the bounty, you're still going to have a 3-2 score. It doesn't affect who wins or loses. It's just an extra point. So someone can lose a game, but lose by a smaller margin and effectively gain themselves an extra point. If you never take the commander, operative, special forces, heavy, or support that has a bounty on it, you will never give up that point. Vice versa, you may play against people who also never have those points. However, if you are playing and you play a game and win and get the bounty, you can get a 4-point win. So there's just extra points out there for some people in all of the rounds. There's just... does it stack with the regular bounty keyword? Absolutely. So the win-loss of the games still stacks. But here's the thing. The bounty keyword is actually in the game for VPs. This is just a league point. It has no win-loss. So the bounty in the game still exists on actual units, but this is a league point. So it's not going to factor into the win-loss. It does not change any outcome there. Just something fun and bonus. And if you want to take those Inquisitors, because a good chance that round 3 operative, the Inquisitors are probably going to get a bounty target on them. If you're playing them, it's just going to be extra juicy if you do kill them. So that is just the added bonus that's thrown in there. So there's no bans. Every list, every unit is eligible. If it's in the beta mod, you can take it. So just an extra little thing to throw in there. So a couple other things too. The map packs. Map packs will be given to the round. So we'll have a few to choose from. I'll probably get Jake to do those if he's willing to. The round maps are picked by the blue player, but red still gets choice. So if you are choosing based on the number of points you are, and you're saying, you know what, I'd rather be red, well, then you're going to give up map choice, but then retain side choice. So that is decided before you guys ever play. If you guys want to mutually decide another way, that's fine. But remember that red still gets table side choice. So any discrepancies, I'll just put this out there in the league. Please just post up in the rules chat or ping somebody, myself, Sean Death, Canadian Bear, Jace, etc. I will tell you, I've never once pinged for a dispute. So I don't anticipate that, but it's a fun league for fun players to have fun. So please use that as your guiding measure when you're doing that. So, and Jake will also get the map pack ready. That is amazing. So thanks to Jake and Chad as well. Any information regarding signups, list submissions, etc. There's lots of tabs in there for the league. There's a league signup. There's a league rules. There's league general. So if you need a question answered, just ping us and we will make sure that happens. We're anticipating that we'll have the next launch show on the 14th. So that means that games will need to be concluded 5 weeks from basically effectively today, and we'll kind of keep updating as we go each week. So please keep that in mind. So that is the league format. Jace is going to give you the numbers, and then we're going to get into the pods before we get out of here. So Jace is up to sharing. We got a few stats for the league submissions.
Sweet.
All right. All right, Jace, go ahead.
Perfect. All right. So Anthony thought it was because he was friends with me. Anthony, bold of you to assume I have friends. But as you can see from this wonderful faction breakdown, nothing's wrong with Empire. Empire's fine. Empire's fine.
47.6%.
Yep. If you want to know what armies people hate, look at Rebels.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much all you can take away from this one is that Empire's half the field.
I do think we need to point out that Separate have made a pretty solid showing here too. Like I think we anticipate. Maybe in fact, I think Empire might be a little light on only 47%. A solid 50 I would expect there. But nice to see the Separatists coming in at 24%. So poor rebels. But anyway, that's fine. So we probably won't see much Shadow Collective. And again, remembering when we get into the bounties, if you will, some units are going to carry inherently more bounties, but the bounty point might actually have some influence in terms of people want to drive that down. Like, let's just say, for example, we're going to see upcoming here supports, right? Well, if E-Webs have bounties on them in the support week or support round, well, maybe less E-Webs appear because, it's a fairly easy unit to get a bonus point on. So, yeah, so there's that. All right, Jace, break down the battle forces of the battle forces represented.
Yeah, so only 4 battle forces are being brought. 2 of them are Empire. Who would have guessed that? And they are Blizzard Force and Remnant. Wow. Surprise.
Yeah.
And they're being brought at 19 and 27%. What's interesting, so the biggest battle force is Wookiee Defenders at 27.3%.
Well, I think droids, Wookiees, and Imperial are all 27.
Oh, they're all 27.3.
Interesting. I think the more interesting part here is that Blizzard Force is the lowest taken
one
force here. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No Ewoks though. That's sad. No Ewoks.
Yeah.
But
people can't afford them even on TTS. So
lots of Wookiee Defenders, lots of experimental droids, little bit of Blizzard Force. As you can see, no Republic or Rebel battle forces.
Yeah, no 501st, sad face for Pally.
Yeah, so no 501st. I guess Wookiee Defenders is technically a Republic one, but
yeah,
technically.
Well, actually, is the more appropriate term.
Actually.
Yeah, Jay said one job to share facts and
Whee!
Messed up.
Yeah.
All right, check out the operative breakdown. Can you break this one down by the numbers here, Jace? Because I'm a little confused.
This is interesting because if you look, we got Bosk at, I believe that's 14.3%.
They're all 14.3.
Sunfac at 14.3. Yep. Sunfac.
Din Djarin.
That's Din Djarin. For Rebels, 7th Sister, 5th Brother, so they're being brought together.
Yep.
IG-88 and Empire Boba Fett.
Yes.
I'm liking the Sunfac in there. I'm liking whoever's playing Sunfac. I want to see how you do with some Geonosians.
Big surprise for me was that we didn't see a discrepancy between the number of 5th Brothers and 7th Sister. Turns out people are going to take them together, it seems.
No freaking way.
Hot take.
Wow. They're better together.
Yeah, I want to see the person who takes only one of them. I went halvesies with a friend. That's the thing, though. If you're only taking one, which one do you take? That's true. That is true. So who else brought Din, my brother from another brother? J-Rod's also fairly active in chat tonight. Answering Anthony's earlier question about what do round points get you, I believe his answer was fame, fortune, women. So that's those are weird league prizes that we'll have to somehow come up with. But yes, and of course, we'll make sure that all those get distributed to those that are asking. I guess I would like the fortune if possible. So, yeah. So it is interesting though that like Bobster said, Sunfac's the only
separatist operative.
Yeah. Who made these
No,
numbers anyway?
no,
These
no bounty hunters or anything.
these seem non-legit here. So, Michael Smith saying surprise twist. 2 players only took one of the other. That's fair. That's true. 2 people could have taken, fifth brother, and then the other 2 took seventh sister. Never thought about that. That is a surprise twist there. Here's the core breakdown, perhaps the largest core breakdown we've ever seen, keeping in mind here that 1, we've got some new core, and 2, we have some units that were previously not core that are counting in the core slot. So,
yeah.
Any surprises on there, Jace?
Well, based on the number of Empire, where it's safe to say Stormtroopers make up the majority of this.
Yep, that's fair.
But the HRUs are there, right? Because Blizzard's there. Mortars, Shores, Snows. Rebel Vets. Pikes in Rebels. So the Rebel players bring in Pikes. Phase 1 clones. So there's no Phase 2s being brought. And no regular Rebel Troopers or fleets, just Rebel Vets.
Yep.
And I don't know if I missed it somewhere, but is there no Mark II?
I don't see any Mark IIs.
Rebel Vets, no Mark IIs.
Apparently so.
Yep.
Yeah, real interesting on here. I like that B2. The interesting stat
Lots of
here is
B2s.
that B2s are actually ahead of B1s. That's rare, quite rare. But
Very
again, I
rare.
think that links to the Experimental Battleforce, where they're even in number and perhaps even less so. So because you don't have to take them. So
I'm intrigued.
there's Mark II.
I'm intrigued.
Where's the Mark IIs here?
I'm not seeing Mark.
Oh, J-Rod's got 2. Unless somehow they don't show up from a percentage standpoint in this particular. I'm not sure how Canadian Bear does that.
I bet it's there's 2 slices at the bottom, an orange slice and a green slice that I think don't have anything. So
Gotcha. There we go. Fair enough. So that's probably where the Mark IIs are. Fair enough.
Yeah.
By the way, this is just in. J-Rod's got Mark IIs. Auto loss. Just FYI.
Auto
he's
loss.
in your pod. Yeah, he's in your pod.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see what list the Shadow Collective player brought, because there's only a couple pikes and that slice is not that big. I'm intrigued to see how many Shadow Collective pikes that is, though.
Yeah. Look at Anthony, just this guy.
Oh, Anthony, guess what? We aren't doing a pod breakdown today.
Yeah, with the big reveal is Anthony. There is no reveal, so
there is no reveal.
We're actually saving it for Q1 of 2024. So stay tuned. All right, last one. The support choices, and the only reason we included this is because eWebs are finally leading the pack just in time for Ryan to be officially gone. So, turns out. All you had to do
eWebs are second. eWebs are second.
Oh, that is true. They are behind the new Fluttercraft. The new
Fluttercraft version 2.
I
the one that can change its
leading
speed.
the way for Empire.
And Anthony's lead.
And just in time, Anthony heading out makes sense.
Perfect. Yep.
Finally got that
Someone
out of here.
Someone brought Droidicas. I love you. Thank you.
Finally brought Droidicas. Don't watch Friday Night Fights. Not too late to change your list. Just kidding. Would be too late to change your list. So,
Droidicas make me sad.
Yeah,
I want
for sure.
I want to love them, but they don't love me back.
Oh, I also wanted to point out that there's one more lucrative addition to doing well in the league. It's the VIP Denny status. That's in some places, in some circles, that's high value. In other circles, like the toilet bowl, that's actually death. So there's things. Yeah, exactly. Denny's not a sponsor yet.
Yet. Anthony hasn't had big enough blowout yet.
That's fair. Are you ready for the pods, Jace?
Yes.
Okay. So I have 4. And they are all themed this particular round for Ahsoka planets. So
perfect.
All themed, and that's going to be the running theme. So I might reuse some of these planets this season in between rounds. So not to confuse players, but remember that you may change planets that you're on. So
spoiler alert if you care about the planets in Ahsoka.
Yeah, fair. I was going to say that. Exactly. Spoiler alert if you care about what planets are in the show. So, but we have Agamar, Mandalore, Arcana, and Lethal. And I want to point out the irony between Lethal and Arcana, that it's a lot like Lorcana. Just wanted to throw that in there one more time. So, okay, that is not a planet this go round, Jake, but perhaps in the future you can visit there. So, all right, Jace, where would you like to go of the 4 planets that we have, and then we'll do a little live react, and then we are out of here.
Let's go to Mandalore first.
Mandalore first. All right, if you are in Mandalore, you are in the following pod with these established gentlemen. Crow Servo, Dark Slider 66, A Strange Event, that's Nick, Tyler Carnes, and JD making his return to the league, which is great. So if you guys are in chat, let us know. If you guys are not in chat and want out of this group immediately, that's also fine. The safety word is Mandalore. So just type that. We'll know that we want to extricate you out of this group. So Dark Slider's playing experimental droids in here for sure. That's a pot of death. Yeah, for sure. There's lots of heavy hitters in there, and it's going to be super, super fun. If I'm counting up Worlds invites, I think there's 2 already in there for sure. I'm not sure if Crow Servo has 1, but there could be potentially up to 3 Worlds invites in here already. So he can't spell that. That's fine. The letters are on the screen, my friend. Just follow. So yes, so you guys will be set up. You guys will be looking for the room called Mandalore. Feel free to schedule your games once the map packs up and the groups are made. And away you go. Okay, Crow Servo. Wow, that's deep cut right there. All is a sponsor. I used to have one. Yep, that's fair, and probably sentiments that have been echoed from others. So hopefully you get another one.
Yikes!
Yep, that is
Poor
not
buddy.
what I meant. That's not what I meant by that. But yeah, so sorry about that. And
our condolences.
Yeah, exactly. Pour one out for Crow Servo. I'm sure if he's got one, he can earn another one for sure. So, all right, well, there you have it, Jace. That is Mandalore. Off you guys go. Heard that planet, stay off the surface. It's a little treacherous there. So, all right, Jace, where are we going? Lethal, Arcana, or Egamar? Egamar is next up. Also a group of 5. In here, we got Bobster 117, Silent Sword, Sean Death, Obi-Wan Toby, and Shadow Scout 0013. A lot of numbers in here. This is the number group. Also Sean Death conveniently dodging once again.
Wow, what a guy.
Yeah,
what
seriously,
a guy.
This guy just skirts around and does a whole lot of nothing.
Still
Talks
dodging.
a big game, can't even play the playoff round, so I'm not sure what that's all about. It's funny because Anthony and Sean Death, who claim to be skirting around, or I'm skirting around them continuously, are also scheduled to play each other. I haven't seen a league game reported yet, so yeah. Bobster's saying fear the bugs, so we'll look eagerly to have some Geonosian battle reports coming back out of this group for sure. So looking forward to that.
100%.
Yeah, so again, Bobster, Silent Sword, Sean Death, Obi-Wan Toby, Shadow Scout, you are in Egamar. Good luck. 2 left, Jace. Lethal or Arcana?
Arcana.
All right, Arcana. Here it is. Canadian Bear, OS Dad, Psych Dog.
They're in the same group.
And J-Rod. Here we go. Anthony gets his
that
wishes.
Is
too bad he's not here anymore.
That's a gross pod.
I mean, I think that J-Rod and I just need to... I think it's just going to be a smack talk pod. So, never seen Anthony so excited to be in the same room as me. So, it's going to feel weird. We probably should just play the game here. It'd be probably best. But other Anthony coming in, OGs. So we'll have 2 Anthonys, the second best Blood and Plunder player that I know, and then Canadian Bear in here. So nice thing about this is we actually have 4 Canadians and 1 American in the same pod, and I just realized that now. So yeah, and Jay,
make sure you feel make sure J-Rod feels bullied in there.
Oh, we'll 100% bully him for sure. So. Also weird that Canadian Bear is dodging Jake. That's a brutal pod plus me. There's J-Rod. So wow, this guy This guy. All right, wait for the live reacts. Wait for the live reacts. All right, and the last but not least, we're going to Lethal. Here it is, Lethal. This is the group of 6 here. So we got the Framinator, we got the Dark Knight, GM Smithers, Kokazula, Mr. Witty 82, and Tyson. So a couple internationals in this one, so that kind of worked out. So maybe they'll have finally some players to get some games in at reasonable time zones and or vice versa. So that I didn't realize that. I forgot that Tyson was from the UK, so it just kind of came to that realization now. So that is going to be good. These guys will have the distinct advantage of being able to get to the 4 bonus games, maybe easier than others, but everyone has the potential to get there. And remember, there is no extra bounty units this round, so everybody's just basically playing for the 3-point wins. But next round, keep in mind, commanders will do a vote, and we'll get those commanders bountied in each of the factions. So there you have it. They're set. I'll do them one more time, starting with Lethal here. So Framinator, Dark Knight, GM Smithers, Kokazula, Mr. Witty, Tyson. We got Arcana with Canadian Bear, OS Dad, Scythe Dog, The Train Studio, and J-Rod. Mandalore with Crow Servo, Dark Slider, Strange Event, Tyler Carnes, and J.D. Nielsen. And then we got Bobster, Silent Sword, Sean Death, Obi-Wan Toby, and Shadow Scout 0013. So lots of S's in that particular group. So Commander KQ, unless you had a list somewhere, and if I missed you, that is fine, because I can add you to a pod, no problem. And if I missed you on error, let me just quickly... Canadian Bear can verify. So if you are on there, then we actually have one additional person in the league based on lists. So did you send in a list? Just let me know. And if that is the case, I'm going to go ahead and throw you into a pod. Oh, Shadow Scout never got on there, so maybe I actually misread that one. All right, Commander KQ, you are, remember, I got him off the list. Commander KQ, oh, fair enough. Okay, straight up, my bad. We're going to swap you. You're going to go into that spot. I thought he was signed up and I missed you. Commander KQ, you are in there, and we will make that correction. So sorry, Bobster, Silent Sword, Sean Death, Obi-Wan Toby. Look out, because Commander KQ is now in your squad.
He's coming for you.
And he's coming for you. Agamar has never been the same. So that's my bad. I must have grabbed that name off the list. So we'll get that fixed up. So yeah, there we go. Fair enough. Sean pointing out correctly, I was actually trying to dodge Commander KQ this whole time. You are welcome. So, all right, since we have enough smack talk in the chat, let's see if anybody's willing to put their comments in the nether regions. Jason, I got a few minutes. You got a couple more minutes, Jason? We can get a couple in here.
Oh, of course.
All right, good. I do have to. My mother's visiting, and I do have to take her to the bank. So, and it's 9 p.m. So, I said, I'll just be a little bit. We'll be fine. So, going in chat right there. We're gonna make it quick.
Gosh,
so if you guys come in, you got a couple.
Need
minutes
your
of
rent
time.
payment.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And then we'll cycle you out of here. Discussion topics, I think, are particularly fun this week, and you have to use them. They are, oh boy, I'm not crying. You are. Well, actually, and the other one is I'm not, but if I was. So that could be anything from what you're running in the league if you aren't, or I would have been in the league, but I'm not. And if I was, I would have ran this. Your topic. Chat is the guest eCam invite is there. If anyone is brave enough to come put their face and mug on here in words, not calling out anyone particular, but everyone who's the chat very active tonight. Good crowd tonight as well. Smash those thumbs up buttons. We do appreciate those for sure. Map pack is ready. Jake Witty is that fast. The rooms aren't set, but Jake will send that over to me, and when I get back later on this evening, probably in an hour or two's time, I'll set the rooms. I will drop you in there. If I miss you, Commander KQ, I will not. I will drop you guys all in there for permissions. If you cannot access your pod for whatever reason, then remember, you can only access your pod, except if you're an admin, which we parachute into all of them, and I usually stir in the pod in a few of them. There's no advantage, by the way, to be in any pod, but we just keep it restricted so that we don't have any confusion about misreported things or anything like that. But Jace, what I'm actually seeing is that's floating out there for free, and I see a lot of people too scared to speak the words. They were all tough, keyboard warriors on there typing away and getting all their smack talk in there. Who's dodging who? I mean, the real reality is who's dodging who.
Yeah.
Jace? If they're
Oh,
not here,
Anthony seems right now like Anthony was all bark no bite.
oh,
Doesn't want to
I've seen
actually
Sean
face you.
Death stouting off there. Sean's in there.
There we
Sean
go.
says he's gonna hop on in 1 second. Sean's not
Oh,
in there, so
good, good.
I better get some real intel on the league. Like, where was he? J Rod is the only one in our pod not using Battle
A
Force.
battle force.
I mean,
The real question though is there any duplicate battle forces? Could you have all gone each with a different battle force?
I'm doing great. Yeah, don't come too close unless you want to appear on camera. So,
It's called American Independence.
I mean, J Rod's probably the only guy also in the league running pirate ships. Let's be completely honest.
Yes.
So there's
J-Rod thought this was a blood and plunder tourney.
that is true. That is true. All right, we got Sean spelled incorrectly chiming in here. I'll get him in here for a few minutes here. This 1 second. Let me have that. I gotta unassign. Whoa, Sean's real close.
There we go.
Yeah, I've got to be on my phone tonight. My computer
right,
took a crap on me.
Oh, that's okay. We're gonna throw you up here. Maybe just turn it to landscape for a second. If you rotate your phone, I think it might.
No, it just has me sideways on landscape mode.
That's fine. We'll just we'll then turn you back the other way, and we'll just be real close to the camera. I'm actually gonna do this too.
Yeah, we got a match.
All right, go ahead, brother. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I was just I like the I'm not crying, you are. I think Inquisitors are pretty silly, though. I do like that it's an interesting teamwork-esque feat. I do like that it's one way. I think my favorite part about it, though, is the immobilized token double dip. I think that's very thematic and an interesting game space to explore. I think they are going to be a little bit skewing. I don't think you would run both of them and a bounty hunter. I think there's just too many cards and too much out there. Maybe with somebody who's kind of card independent like Boba, possibly you could do it. But I think overall they're likely just going to be the two operatives you take. So them being only one operative slot's not super relevant in my opinion. But yeah, I think they have some interesting play, and I would like to see something similar for like Shadow Collective because that's what I play, and I'm not bitter at all that we haven't seen anything for them forever.
Right. I think the design space with the operative is that they're designed to take in tandem, and they didn't want to tax you by having no ability to take any other operatives that you might otherwise choose, because basically you're either picking them, they're filling all your slots, or you can't take them. So I do like that from a standpoint. I think that the room to take another option is right. I think it's too taxatious, both on the command side and potentially points depending on what commander you want to run. I do think that Callus has a good play in there. If you were going to go the other route, it ends up being really expensive, but it's the only way that I can see where you would have some ability to have not have to make really hard choices on your command cards, although you still are going to have to make choices in the game. So there is that. So yeah, fair. And what about World's Invite prospect? Where were we at with you? You had one?
Yeah, I had one. It got nullified because people called out before the tournament started, and so they're like, "Oh yeah, that should still be fine." It wasn't fine. That's okay.
Gotcha.
Pain.
Man.
But whatever. It's something that I'm looking for, but I'm okay with doing the LCQ. It's not a huge drive for me to get there.
Nice.
For Adepticon. So
ultimate question was, were we going to see you there? I guess, and the answer will be yes.
Absolutely.
So, okay, excellent. So we're gonna plan as much of a big meetup as possible. So that's good. So that could also fall under the category of I'm not crying, you are, with the the World's Invite resins here. So hopefully we have less people crying when it's all said and done. There's still some time to get there. So hopefully you either get another chance or you can power through LCQ for sure. So.
Yeah, I'm testing out a few different lists now. I'm going with possibly just a boss pike spam list that's been working out pretty good. Just because I have to be a little bit reserved turn one, but after that I've got so many dodges that they just can't do much. Most people also then gun for Bosk, in which case then my pikes are essentially immortal until like turn 5, and then it's over at that point generally. So
Right. Just a weight of bodies comes in late game. So awesome. Well, I look forward to hearing more about that. And like I always say, if you got any lists that you want us to try, this is a general statement. Feel free to send them in. Jace is always willing to play some different some different lists, and probably convince Anthony a time or two to run something else. So yeah,
I'll toss it in Discord one of these days.
for sure. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in, and for sure stay in touch and keep apprised of what's going on in the league. And if you find yourself ever bored and you want to jump in, got lots of rounds upcoming. So
Yeah, I'm hoping to get my computer back up and running this week, and then I'll probably sign up after that. But yeah, it was just like, my hard drive isn't working. I can't use TTS without a hard drive.
yeah, it's fairly important. I'm no computer guy, but I think
Yeah,
that's one
I'm
of the
not
most important.
a computer expert, but I understand it's a pretty important piece of the machine.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, and don't pour water on the keyboard. I'll save you the trouble. I tried that. That didn't fix my problems. So
That's okay. I got plenty of beer. I'll use beer instead.
I didn't try
Perfect.
that, in fairness. So yeah, let us know how that works out. And if we don't hear from you
Will
next
do.
week, we'll know how it worked out. So awesome. All right, man. Have a great evening.
You too.
All right, cheers.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, Jace. Well, like I said, those guys running away in chat. Anthony literally legit disappeared. So we don't know where old man Anthony is. So my wife destroyed my gaming laptop by spilling 32 ounces of water on it. Okay, Jake, somewhere in there's a story because you're measuring literally the quantity. Like, I get it. Like, somebody, like, I don't know how that happens. Like, oh my goodness, it's spilling. There's 1, 2, 3, 10, 15. No, don't move it yet. We're getting all 32 ounces on this sucker. That's a lot of water, 32 ounces. I don't know if that is in Canadian measurements, but that seems like a lot, Jace.
That is a lot.
Yeah, that's like over a liter, I think, and then we'll have to do the liter conversion back for Jake. And either way, it's a lot of water.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, Jake, you probably shouldn't have been gaming on your laptop so much because it sounds like that was not an accident. Because it did say destroyed. He didn't actually say accident, so that might have been and measured in a quantity of water. So that might have actually just been a straight up like assassination of your gaming laptop. So
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah. Well, Jace's gaming days are all over here pretty soon anyway, so he'll be right in that category. So yeah, I'm just amping up. I just come to the realization that I built my computer right after. Okay, fair enough. Maybe it was convenient for your laptop to be destroyed then, Jake. So no, I'm looking forward. I have not played any TTS, and I did play a bunch of Legion though, so that's good. But I do enjoy the league, and I like playing against different people. And it's been a bit since I played J-Rod. I've played Anthony a little bit in the last little bit, but we haven't played TTS for a bit. And then who else is in my pod? I already forget. Oh yeah, Canadian Bear I haven't played for some time, but I've played him quite a bit. And then Anthony and I have played also a lot, but also haven't played him in a bit. So I haven't played against my pod mates in a bit, but I've played all of them. So that's fun. So kind of getting reacquainted. So I don't know what they're running. I do have access to the list, but I don't look at them. I just make sure that we have all of them submitted. So I will. That's just something I should say. Make sure that you guys feel free to post your lists within your groups once the pods are made, because that's public information. If you want to hide your cards, that's fine. You don't have to reveal everything, but command card wise, battle cards you do. But feel free to share in your pods once those are open. So. All right, Jace, I think we are going to call it a night. We only went 14 minutes over, which is like a record for us. So under the mark, and we got all the information shared out. Inquisitor's good. I hope I do not see a lot in my pod, but if I do, I will report back how awesome they are at killing me. So looking forward to the league round. And again, you guys can switch if you're thinking about joining the league. We're only list locked for the pod that you're in. Each and every week, there's no bans this time. So each and every week, if you see a real nice list that you lost against or played against, and you want to try it for the next league round, I mean, feel free to steal. anyone else's list, and then you're kind of locked in to play it again. But that's the beauty of the leagues. You can try out 6 different lists and get at least 4 to 5 games in with each of them. So it's a really good way to test out things or test new things that you're thinking about trying out before you commit to the purchase kind of thing. So all right, Jace, we'll leave you with that. And, thanks very much to all the folks that came out and hung out with us tonight. We're going to once again give a shout out, homage to Bernard, who wasn't here, but somewhere in the world, this is what he's probably doing. And one more time, there you go. So have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you guys. So no podcast next week, but we will have the Friday night hobby stream this week. So, and then we'll be back with the Friday night fights to follow, I'm sure. So, all right, guys, have a great night, and see everyone next time.
Cheers.
Right? Cheers. Gotta remember where the end button is.